SpaceX is ready to fly Starship Booster 14 for the second time. Why is this important? The polar astronauts are back from their journey, more private missions are launching soon, Orion is nearly ready for Artemis 2. Amazon's first Kuiper satellites are finally about to be launched. Will they endanger SpaceX's Starlink? My name is Felix, welcome to What About It, let's dive right in. We're getting so much closer to Flight 9 and now a big piece of the puzzle has been solved. After a few weeks of speculation and hiding in Mega Bay 1, we now know officially which Super Heavy booster will give Ship 35 a ride on the next Starship flight test. It is Booster 14.2. Yes, we can add that 2 to the end of it now that it is officially cleared by SpaceX itself for flight. The booster underwent a static fire test last week, just days after being rolled out from the corner of Mega Bay 1, and we found out some interesting details. According to SpaceX, 29 out of the 33 Raptor engines are flight-proven and will be reused. That means the booster will only have 4 brand new engines for Flight 9. Risky? Maybe, but that's the way SpaceX has always been. During the static fire and days leading up to the test, you could see the scorch marks and heat discoloration on Booster 14 from Flight 7. Will the booster have even more color variants after Flight 9? Probably, and this will also likely become a trend for Super Heavy boosters in the future, much like how Falcon 9 first stages get more and more covered with soot after each flight. But why does SpaceX try this so early on? After all, right now it looks like the upper stage will stay non-reusable at least for some time. Take a look at Falcon 9. The only reason why this rocket has had and still has so much success, that it pretty much dominates the entire rocket market, is, you guessed it, reusability. Reflying a Super Heavy booster for Starship, even if it doesn't reuse the upper stage, will place it on the same level. Market domination 100 to 150 tons at a time. Reaching partial reusability after 8 flights is much faster than Falcon 9 was able to achieve it as well. Back then it took them 30 launches, but there are still some hurdles to clear before Flight 9 arrives. Flight 8's mishap investigation is still open and yet to be fully resolved by the FAA, and Ship 35 has yet to complete its static fire testing campaign as well. As always, road closures are a key thing to watch for hints as to when Ship 35 may be on the move. Currently, there are temporary closures scheduled for today for a transport between pads and factory. We'll keep you posted as the flight draws nearer. Here's to reusability and reflying more boosters in the future. On Friday, the 4 astronauts from the Fram 2 mission, our Framonauts, returned home after an exciting and historic mission. It was the first time in history that a crewed mission had orbited the poles, so the views sent back by the crew were truly unique and special. The crew conducted experiments in space, like taking the first ever X-ray in orbit and attempting to grow oyster mushrooms in microgravity. Also, the return element of the journey was unique in its own way. This was the first crewed Dragon spaceflight mission to splash down off the coast of California. SpaceX has always returned astronauts to the East Coast, while so far 20 uncrewed cargo Dragons have returned to the West Coast. The last one was in 2020. That was CRS-20, which was also the first launch I ever saw in person. Also different from other return missions, the crew exited the Crew Dragon Resilience unassisted. And yes, this was a scientific experiment. It was created as part of the preparation for flights to places without a welcoming crew waiting, like the Moon or Mars. Are you feeling sad that the mission is over? Did you enjoy the posts and footage from the astronauts in space sent via the onboard Starlink terminal? Don't be sad, there are more private missions happening very soon. NASA has greenlit 2 more private astronaut missions to the International Space Station, eyeing 2026 and 2027 slots to expand commercial access to space. Before we go into detail on those, our channel metrics show over 2 million returning monthly viewers who have not subscribed yet. Help improve the channel and double check that you've hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with our updates. Like this video if you appreciate the content and become a Y supporter for extra content. Secure your access to up to 7 picture galleries per week, satellite, aerial and ground photos and 3D animations. Chat with me and gain more insights on the topic you love. The entire team is waiting for you, you rock! Back to private spaceflights. It's a strategic move as the agency prepares for a future beyond the ISS with a nod to the growing space economy. On April 2nd, NASA issued a call for proposals for 2 additional private astronaut missions to the International Space Station scheduled for 2026 and 2027. It's aiming to keep building on its efforts to open low Earth orbit to commercial players. This announcement follows the approval of Axiom Space's 4th mission, AX-4, which is set to launch no earlier than May 2025 from Launch Complex 39A at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The AX-4 crew, commanded by former NASA astronaut Dr. Peggy Whitson, includes Shubhanshu Shukla from India's Israel, Slavoj Uznansky-Wisniewski from Poland via ESA, and Tibor Kapu from Hungary, marking historic firsts for their countries on the ISS. They'll spend up to 14 days aboard, conducting more than 30 scientific experiments, technology demonstrations, and outreach activities. It continues a legacy that kicked off with Axiom's inaugural mission AX-1 in April 2022, which saw the first private crew spend 17 days on the station. NASA's push for private missions stems from its Commercial Crew Program, launched in 2011 to foster a robust commercial space sector. These missions, coordinated by US-based companies like Axiom Space and flown on SpaceX's Crew Dragon spacecraft atop Falcon 9 rockets, must adhere to stringent ISS visiting vehicle requirements, which ensure safety and compatibility with the station's systems. Since opening the ISS to private astronauts in 2019, NASA has facilitated this shift through reimbursable agreements, where companies cover costs for station resources and crew time. The ISS, orbiting 370 to 460 kilometers above Earth and continuously crewed for over 24 years now, has hosted 8 private missions so far. Love it. These visits have enabled over 70 experiments, from biomedical research to advanced manufacturing, while giving private entities operational experience. With the ISS slated to retire in less than a decade, NASA is investing in a commercial future through its Commercial Low Earth Orbit Development Program, allocating $300 to $400 million to develop private space stations with plans for 2 to 4 awards. They're speeding this up. The agency projects a post-ISS need for space to support at least 2 crew members and 200 annual investigations, ensuring continuity for microgravity research critical to Artemis lunar missions and eventual Mars exploration. Private missions are a stepping stone, helping companies like Axiom, which plans to build its own Axiom station by 2026, gain the expertise needed to operate independent platforms. NASA's collaboration with international partners like ESA and ISRO on AX-4 also maintains the ISS's global spirit in this new age of private missions and soon space stations. Because in the end, this model isn't without challenges. Questions remain whether commercial stations can replicate the ISS's international collaboration. Costs also remain a hurdle, while private missions can run upwards of $50 million per seat. Yet, with SpaceX having flown several private crewed missions and demand rising, the trajectory is clear. NASA is betting on private industry to keep low Earth orbit active, freeing the agency to focus on deep space. This also settles the question of whether there will be another international space station built by agencies after the ISS. Very likely not. Betting on a strong partner is the logical thing to do when an important task is to be tackled. The same goes for today's sponsor. These days, all of us spend half the day online. Your internet safety is as seriously relevant as it is for all of us. Yet, there are still many people out there who do not understand their digital vulnerability before they are seriously harmed. I have an easy solution to share with you. Surfshark is the sponsor of this video, and it is the go-to VPN to keep your data private and your browsing secure. But what is this VPN? Simple. A VPN creates your very own private network, keeping out those prying eyes and hackers, protecting you from data breaches. Your personal privacy matters, and Surfshark provides exactly that. Surfshark is not only incredibly easy to use, there is even more protection for you. Their Surfshark One cybersecurity package features a built-in antivirus to protect you from dangers like data worms and Trojan horses. Be worry-free if you're not familiar with all these terms. Surfshark's got your back. It automatically handles everything for you. Surfshark's also got you covered everywhere you go, be it on the go using a public internet connection, when you are surfing at home, with proxy emails, instant alerts, and a fresh start if your data was compromised. Your single license will protect your whole family. On as many devices as you like, you can have Surfshark take care of your parents or that internet-loving teenager. Surfshark protects all of those you love. Time for a new standard for your family's security, because safety isn't just important in spaceflight. Go to surfshark.com/Felix or use code Felix at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment. Surfshark, your data, your rules. Safe and sound, same as our Artemis astronauts? NASA and the Department of Defense wrapped up a key training session last week to recover the Orion spacecraft after its Artemis 2 lunar journey. It's a crucial step to ensure the crew's safe return with a splash of teamwork on the high seas. On March 29th, NASA's Exploration Ground Systems program, alongside Department of Defense teams, completed underway recovery test 12 aboard the USS Somerset off the coast of California. The week-long exercise in the Pacific Ocean practiced the procedures to retrieve the Orion spacecraft and its crew following Artemis 2, the first crewed mission of NASA's Artemis program, set for April 2026. Using a full-scale mock-up called the Crew Module Test Article, teams simulated the recovery process, ensuring they are certified to bring back astronauts Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and CSA's Jeremy Hansen after their 10-day trip around the moon. I am so jealous and happy. The training covered Orion's splashdown dynamics. After re-entering our atmosphere at nearly 40,200 km per hour, Orion will slow to 520 km per hour when deploying 5 parachutes in sequence to reach a gentle 32 km per hour for splashdown off California. The capsule will travel 2,850 kilometers during re-entry, a direct path to minimize exposure to extreme heat. Drivers, engineers, and Navy personnel practiced stabilizing Orion in the water, towing it into the USS Somerset's well deck, and extracting the crew, with astronauts like Luca Parmitano and Andre Douglas assisting to gain experience. Victor Glover, Artemis 2's pilot, also joined, taking on a support role to prepare for his mission. This test builds on Artemis 1's 2022 uncrewed success and is vital for Artemis 2's goal of testing the Space Launch System rocket and Orion spacecraft with humans on board. With the ISS set to retire in the next decade, Artemis 2's success paves the way for lunar landings and Mars exploration, ensuring NASA can safely recover its crews from deep space. All these details point to NASA getting ready to leave low Earth orbit. Crews and even stations might finally be ready to leave Earth behind. Is that the right step? Are they doing the right things? What do you think? Tell me in the comments. United Launch Alliance is set to send Amazon's first operational Project Kuiper satellite into orbit, kicking off a massive broadband constellation. It's a pivotal launch with a subtle jab at the competition. ULA is targeting this week's launch of the Kuiper 1 mission from Space Launch Complex 41 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. This would mark Project Kuiper's first operational deployment. They took their sweet time. The Atlas V 551 rocket, standing 62 meters tall and weighing 590 tons when fueled, will carry 27 satellites into a 450-kilometer low Earth orbit at a 51.9-degree inclination. This mission will initiate a constellation of 3,236 satellites aimed at providing high-speed, low-latency internet to unserved and underserved communities globally, directly challenging SpaceX's Starlink, which boasts over 7,000 satellites and 5 million subscribers at this point. To accommodate the satellites, which were integrated at Amazon's Kennedy Space Center facility, ULA will need modified ground equipment and a longer payload fairing. This will be the first of 46 ULA launches for Kuiper, with 8 on Atlas V and 38 on Vulcan Centaur. Project Kuiper's roots trace back to 2019, with prototypes KuiperSat 1 and 2 launched in October 2023 on an Atlas V after delays with ULA's Vulcan Centaur. Amazon faces a tight Federal Communications Commission deadline to deploy half its constellation by mid-2026, requiring a brisk launch cadence. The company's $10 billion investment, including a new Florida facility, underscore its commitment. With Starlink's dominance, Kuiper's success hinges on rapid scaling and competitive pricing, which are yet to be revealed. Rocket Lab's Neutron rocket approaches spaceflight differently with its unique Stage 2 design, which has recently undergone rigorous testing. Peter Beck's team has been hard at work on its Neutron rocket, a medium-lift vehicle capable of carrying 13,000 kilograms to low Earth orbit. Its Stage 2 design is grabbing attention for its unconventional approach. Unlike traditional rockets, where the second stage sits atop the first with support from below, Neutron's 13-meter Stage 2 is suspended inside Stage 1 from the top of the tank. This configuration allows for a significantly lighter carbon composite structure, reducing weight and boosting efficiency. During flight, once Stage 1's fairing opens in space, Stage 2 is released from within, igniting its Archimedes engine to propel the payload into orbit, a method that streamlines the separation process. It's kinda like James Bond, you only stage once. The qualification campaign for Stage 2 has been thorough, ensuring it can handle the harsh realities of spaceflight. Tests included applying over 590 tons of force and tension load to the carbon composite structure, verifying its strength under extreme stress. Rocket Lab also conducted flight-like operations in cryogenic conditions during fuel tests, integrating flight software, avionics, and guidance navigation and control systems to simulate real mission scenarios. Additionally, the stage underwent pressurization and proof testing at 125% of its maximum operating pressure while subjected to mechanical loads, confirming its durability for the journey to orbit. This innovative design and testing regime highlight Rocket Lab's push to make Neutron a reliable workhorse, especially after its recent selection for the US Space Force's National Security Space Launch Program. With a debut flight targeted for late 2025 from Wallops Island, Virginia, Stage 2's lightweight build and robust performance could give Neutron an edge in the competitive medium-lift vehicle market. Portal Space Systems just secured a hefty $17.5 million to bring its ultra-maneuverable Supernova spacecraft to life, promising a new era of orbital agility. This is a big win for a small team with some serious space credentials and an awesome name. On April 3rd, Portal Space Systems, a Seattle area startup based in Washington, announced it raised $17.5 million in an oversubscribed seed funding round led by Ally Corp. This brings their total funding to $25.6 million, including $2.6 million in pre-seed money, $5.5 million in small business research grants, and a $45 million SpaceWorks StratFi commitment from August 2024. Yeah, that is a lot of cash. The funds will support the development and mid-2026 demonstration launch of Supernova, a 500-kilogram spacecraft designed to shift between orbits using a solar thermal propulsion system, which heats propellant with concentrated sunlight to generate thrust. Wait, what? Supernova's key feature is its ability to achieve a delta V of 6 kilometers per second, enabling it to move from low Earth orbit at 1930 kilometers to geostationary orbit at nearly 36,000 kilometers in just hours, or reach cislunar space in days, far surpassing the typical 500 meters per second delta V of most satellites. Led by CEO Jeff Thornburg, a former SpaceX Raptor engine architect with experience at Amazon's Project Kuiper and SpinLaunch, Portal aims to serve both commercial and military needs. Remember the money? The spacecraft's agility could facilitate collision avoidance in crowded low Earth orbit, rapid repositioning for commercial clients, or responsive operations for defense, a priority for the US Space Force, which has awarded Portal over $3 million since 2024. They've made strides in their technology, manufacturing a heat exchanger and thruster, and plan a critical design review this quarter, followed by full-scale thruster tests. With plans to expand its team to 100 by next year, Portal is preparing for production. This investment reflects the rising need for dynamic space operations, though challenges remain as solar thermal propulsion, while simpler than nuclear options, is unproven at scale. Do you know what's proven at scale to be an insane experience every time? Helicopter rides! Check out redlineheli.com/Felix for a once-in-a-lifetime experience and $25 off flying in a helicopter above Starbase. The Redline helicopter team is waiting for you. They'll show you the same views our photographers get on their Starbase flights. Give it a try. The Senate has finally scheduled Jared Isaacman's confirmation hearing to lead NASA, putting the private astronaut one step closer to the agency's helm. Yes! It's a pivotal moment with a hint of urgency for the space community. On April 2nd, the Senate Commerce Committee announced it will hold a confirmation hearing for Jared Isaacman, President Trump's nominee for NASA Administrator, on April 9th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. The hearing, which will also consider Olivia Trustee's nomination for the Federal Communications Commission, comes after months of anticipation in the spaceflight industry. Trump first declared his intent to nominate Isaacman in December 2024, formally submitting the nomination on January 20th, hours after his inauguration. The delay in scheduling had sparked impatience among supporters, with nearly 30 former NASA astronauts, including Apollo 9 veteran Rusty Schweickart, signing a letter on March 21st urging the committee to act swiftly, citing Isaacman's unique qualifications. However, the Senate Commerce Committee, chaired by Senator Ted Cruz, had been waiting on paperwork, as Cruz noted in February, and the Senate's mid-April recess means a formal vote to send the nomination to the full Senate likely won't happen until at least April 28th. This hearing arrives at a critical juncture for NASA, with the Artemis program facing delays and the ISS nearing its 2030 retirement. Seriously, good luck NASA and good luck Jared. Tough tasks are ahead, and I personally couldn't think of anyone more qualified to achieve success. SpinLaunch, known for its centrifuge launch tech, announced Meridian Space, a broadband satellite constellation expanding its ambitions. On April 3rd, SpinLaunch, based in Long Beach, California, revealed plans for Meridian Space, a low Earth orbit broadband network, signing a $130 million contract with Kongsberg Nano Avionics to build 280 satellites, each weighing 70 kilograms. To put this into perspective, a Starlink V2 mini satellite, which is what's currently launched by Falcon 9, weighs in at around 800 kilograms each. SpinLaunch filed for a 1,200 satellite system with the FCC in 2021. A demo satellite will launch in 2026 via a traditional rocket, while their kinetic launch site on Adak Island, Alaska, progresses. Love the system. Meridian Space targets over 2 terabits per second for enterprise and government clients, not consumers, unlike Starlink or Project Kuiper. Operating at 830 kilometers, the satellites use 5G protocols and reflect array antennas, simplifying ground gear with one-dimensional tracking. A single rocket could deploy 250 satellites, potentially topping SpaceX's 143 satellite record. SpinLaunch, founded in 2014 with $430 million raised, aims to cut launch costs using a centrifuge reaching 8,000 kilometers per hour. Meridian Space diversifies SpinLaunch's focus, but competing with Starlink's 7,000 satellites and Kuiper's $10 billion budget poses a big challenge. That's it for today. Remember to smash that like button, subscribe for more. This is what fuels the algorithm, and this is how you can help us for free. Check out our epic shirts in your favorite Space Nerd store. A new Raptor design and our brand new Starship Block 2 design are both up. Link is in the description and in the card you should see now. Also, check out our print store at shop.whataboutit.space to buy a picture for your favorite wall. A significant amount of every purchase goes directly to our photographer, Jordan. And if you want to learn more about SpaceX's history and why Starship is skipping leg day, watch this video next to continue your journey. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next episode. Welcome everybody. Fremonauts. Led by who? The Inclination. Flights, it's much move me, yeah.